Okay, so I saw My Hero Academia Heroes Rising this week, and I have some thoughts about that. Okay, so like I say, what we're talking about is My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, the second My Hero Academia film, even though the first one was called Two Heroes, and this one is probably more about two heroes than the first one is. The first one was probably more about Heroes Rising. The titles were a bit weird, but I saw it earlier this week when it came out in the UK, and I thought, God, I have some thoughts about this, and nobody else in my life really wants to hear them anymore because I've been talking about them for about 5 days now. So here you are. They're here, they're going to you guys. A little bit of background on this film. It is, like I say, it's the second film in the My Hero Academia filmography. It's a little unclear at the minute whether or not it is going to be canon. I looked it up a little bit online, and it's, like I say, it isn't confirmed whether or not it's going to be canon. Series 4 is currently airing. I am watching Season 4 as it comes out week to week. I'm not caught up to that point in the manga, so everything in Season 4 is new to me. And also, I'm watching it dubbed because, fuck you, I like dubs. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm watching it dubbed. So no spoilers in the comments below. I'm probably 2 weeks behind if those of you watching it subbed. So before we get talking about Heroes Rising, I am going to get that wrong, by the way. I'll call them 1 and 2. Before we start talking about My Hero Academia movie 2, I want to talk a little bit about my thoughts for My Hero Academia 1, because I didn't put them online, but I'm doing this one. The first one, I liked it. I thought it was as good as a mediocre episode from the TV show. I think, personally, the TV show is not only my favourite anime of all time, it's actually my favourite television show of all time. I fucking love My Hero Academia. One of the best mangas I've ever read. Kohei Horikoshi is one of the best character writers ever. So I went into the first film with quite high expectations. I know obviously he'd written the story for it, but not the screenplay. The screenplay was the same person who wrote this one. I thought it was alright. It lacks a little bit of the heart that I think that a lot of Kohei Horikoshi's character writing has, but I think that comes from anime films in general, because obviously they don't know if they're going to be canon, they don't know if everyone's going to see them, so they don't give you the same sort of character development. The characters have to basically be in the same place they were at the end of the film as they are on the start of the film, so character development for characters who are in the series is quite difficult. But other than that, I thought it was pretty well made overall. This one, the second one, in my opinion, is better. It's not as good as the series, because it's never going to be. It's the same writer and director. It's Studio Bones again, who, by the way, Studio Bones, fuck me. You are very good at animating action sequences. Well done. But aside from that, the writing in this one is better as well, I think. I think everything about it is just a little bit better. It's up from a 6 or a 7 to an 8 or a 9 at this point. But overall, there are some problems I have with it. I am the biggest My Hero Academia fan, but I am not unapologetically a fan. I do have some criticisms. So if that's not what you want to hear, go away, because that's all I'm really going to talk about. You know what the good parts of My Hero Academia are. Everyone knows. Everyone's watching it. It's really good. The good parts are the same as the ones in the series. What I'm here to talk about is the problems I have with it a little bit. My hero, show me what I gotta do. So the main issues I have with it come, and this will be spoilers, I guess. So I'll do a little bit of a non-spoiler review, and then I'll do a spoiler review. Non-spoilers. It's like I say, it's good. It's good. I like it a lot. I think it's definitely worth going to see, especially if you're watching the series. Or actually, in the UK, you might actually not be able to go see it now, because I think it only had like a 2-day release or something for subs and dubs. So when it comes out on Funimation, watch it then, because if you haven't already seen it, because even if it isn't canon, it's pretty good, and it's more of the characters that you love, so it's definitely worth watching. Just for a brief overview, what essentially it is the characters from Class 1A, Deku and Bakugo and everyone's class. Because at the state of the anime at the minute, the whole of Japan and pretty much maybe the world, we don't actually know, is not overrun with villains, but there are more villains, and they're more in your face than normal. The heroes are struggling, and so more rural areas like the islands off the coast of Japan, who maybe had one hero for the whole of the island, and they're sort of aging out or retiring. They don't have anyone anymore to do their sort of bits, because no heroes can come over and help anymore, because they're all on the mainland dealing with murderers and monsters and stuff. So Class 1A are recommended to go over as part of this work leave thing. Even though they are children, they all have their hero licenses, or provisional hero licenses, I apologise. They're sent over to just sort of help out and do actual hero work, and then it turns out that they're just kind of like fixing tractors and getting groceries and helping old ladies when their scooters die and that sort of stuff. It's fun, but obviously it turns out, oh no, villains attack. Shock. Somewhere where Class 1A are villains attack. But it's done in a way where you kind of believe it's not just like, oh no, they're targeting Class 1A again. Why is nobody... I mean, you do think, why is nobody with Class 1A? Like, clearly, they have at least bad luck. If they're not being targeted, they have terrible luck when it comes to getting attacked by villains and stuff. There should be somebody with them. There isn't. They're basically running their own hero agency on the island. And, big surprise, villains show up. The villains are fairly well written. I actually just had to look up what the villains are called, because although they're fairly distinctive and they're pretty good My Hero Academia villains, I actually couldn't remember their names. Obviously, the main guy is called 9. He has 9 quirks. No brain cells were stretched there. He has some henchmen and stuff with him. One of them is like a chimera kind of guy. Then there's a woman with like knives in her hair. She's a bit Medusa-y. There's a mummy guy. They never really sort of explain where they come from. He's recruiting them, I guess. They're okay. They're movie villains. They're nothing special. And I would be surprised if any of them came back. I'd be very surprised if the main one came back, because, well, that's a spoiler. I can't tell you that. Speaking of spoilers, right, so we'll do a spoiler part. This is going to be the bulk of it. Really, what I want to talk about, if they split the movie into 2 separate sections, you have the first, whatever it is, 90 minutes, and then the last 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes are the bit where I think it really falls apart. It kind of falls on its ass. The first bit is pretty good, and speaking about it generally, the action's really good. Bones, like I say, do an incredible job of animating it. I think it looks brilliant. It looks as good, if not better, than anything in the season. All the characters, I think they get a fair bit. It's mostly Deku and Bakugo, and then these 2 kids that are on the island who the villains are after. The main bulk of it is sort of them getting to know the people on the island, them doing their general hero stuff, and then the villains attack. And then in the first wave, the kids get beat back. It's pretty standard in terms of storytelling and stuff. What I will say is, I am getting a little bit tired of, in My Hero Academia, it seems like everyone that Deku runs into either really wants to be a hero or absolutely hates heroes. There's nobody like... I guess he is trying to be a hero, so he only notices these people. But I would like to see more people who are just like neutral on heroes, who are just like they have quirks, or they know people who have quirks, but they're just going about their day. But other than that, I think everyone, all of Class 1A, get a fairly good showing. Especially in the fights, there's a lot of good Todoroki stuff, some good Ida stuff. Todoroki's final attack battle bit is really good. You really feel like the kids are in danger for a lot of it, and I think the way that they use the main villain 9's 9 quirks are really impressive. I think because they're not obviously weaponizable quirks, so I think a lot of them are pretty interesting. I think they could have been doing with being more explained, because you see his vision, and it's kind of like infrared, and you think, well, from where he's talking, you can tell that he can see quirks, but it's never really explained why. And I like that element of My Hero Academia where they explain quirks. I think that's interesting. But other than that, I don't really have a lot to say. It was really thoroughly enjoyable, right up until the last action sequence. The last action sequence. Not only did they fucking cop out and do something so shit, they then double copped out. They copped out of their cop out to the point where the whole thing was fucking pointless. And that's what I really want to talk about. I'm going to assume you all know how Deku's quirk works and how it's been passed along and stuff. So in the very last battle, it's Bakugo and Deku going full out against 9. And it's really good. It's really interesting to watch. The 2 of them working together is brilliant. It's something that I've been waiting to see for a long time. I like how their relationship is developing. I like that it's still a little bit frosty. Not frosty, that's Todoroki. It's still a little bit rough and a little bit harsh. But they're miles from where they were when they fought All Might in the exam. they're actually able to work together. They have some pretty cool combo moves, which is really interesting just to watch, and the way that Bones animates this entire last 20 minutes. Look, it looks amazing. I gotta give them that. But in terms of writing, basically what they do is they can't beat 9. Even with Deku working at 100%, breaking his arms, Bakugo going full out, not really caring what happens to his body either. Even with everything, they'd work together, and have their classmates having fought alongside them and worn him down and everything. This guy's body's basically packing in because his own body can't deal with his quirk. They still can't beat him, which is interesting. I was like, oh great, how are they going to get out of this? Are they going to come up with a plan? Are they going to, is somebody going to show up? Hawk's been in this. Are they going to use something they've learned previously? No. What they decide to do, or what Deku decides to do, which I'm kind of getting sick of this as well. He decides to pass on his quirk to Bakugo. He decides to pass on One for All because he knows from watching All Might fight All for One that even once you've given the quirk up, you can still use it for an amount of time. So he knows, or he hopes at least, I suppose, that he'll still be able to use the embers of that quirk even once he's passed it on to Bakugo, and Bakugo will be able to use it straight away pretty much. So the two of them can fight both of them with One for All, which sounds interesting, but when you really think about it, and I've talked to somebody about this, and I don't agree that Bakugo would take this power. Bakugo's entire personality has been, fuck you, I'm doing this on my, I'm gonna win, and I'm doing it on my own, I don't need your help, fuck you. That's Bakugo, and he just fucking takes it. And yet, no, it looks like they're both probably gonna die, and I still don't think Bakugo would take it. I don't think his pride would allow him to be like, I want him to be like, fuck you, Deku, I'm taking this, we're doing this without, I don't need your stinking power, nerd. But he takes it, and then that fight scene does look good. For some reason, Bakugo looks a lot like Super Saiyan Goku. I don't know why they would draw him like that, with such parallels to that. His hair gets lighter, it goes up, there's it looks like energy is radiating off him. It looks so much like Goku, it's ridiculous. But other than that, the fight is animated well. They do manage to beat 9, but then Deku's saying goodbye to his power. He gave it to Kershaw so easily. All Might gave it to him so easily. I don't understand why he thinks Bakugo wouldn't give it back. That really bothered me, because why wouldn't Bakugo just give it back? This is the first cop-out, is them sharing One for All, because it's just it doesn't. Why not do it every time? This is bringing somebody back from the dead in a movie. This is them having a time machine in Marvel now. It's a plot device that breaks the entire series, because now whenever they're in trouble, why doesn't Deku just fucking slice his hand open and go, alright, come on everyone, have a sip, come on everyone, bit one for all for One for All for everyone, ramp everyone's power up, because now we know, because of the ending of this film, that the power won't even leave him. He can lend it to someone and it won't leave his body. All Might finally finds them both, and I thought we were going to find out, Kershaw has woken up a little bit earlier than Midoriya, because they've both passed out from the fight, and he's forced his bloody fist into his mouth or something, he's like, take it back, I don't want it, which I would have let go at that point. But it just turns out that no, the power never left them. Either have him give it up or don't. You can't have it both ways. It's a double cop-out. They copped out of having an interesting end to the fight, and then they copped out of the cop-out. That was like a big sacrifice for Midoriya, and then it turned out he never sacrificed anything because it never left him. And I know he didn't know that, but it still makes that sacrifice meaningless in my opinion. And I know it sounds like I'm really railing on this. I did like the film, but the ending really spoiled it for me, and I just wish that they'd handled it in a way that made sense for the characters. And maybe if you've read the manga, this does make sense, or maybe by the end of season 4 they'll be in a place where this will make sense. Being in that moment there, being where I am up to in the anime, which is all I have, assuming that you watch the anime and don't read the manga, then going into the movie they released at that time, it doesn't make any sense. Midoriya, yes, he tries to give up his power all the time to people. That's something I'm getting sick of as well. He tried to, I said to All Might, what do you think it'd be better with Todoroki? And then he tries to give it to Mirio, and Mirio loses his power, and now he's giving it to Bakugo. Do you want to be a hero or not? Keep if you want your power, keep I'm gonna but it's back and forth between I'm gonna make this power my own. I'm gonna be the greatest hero. I don't deserve this power. Take it away. Somebody else have it. This is my power, and I'm gonna become stronger than anyone ever was. Do you want it? Someone else take it. I just need some consistency there from Midoriya. Not only does Midoriya get to keep the power, it never left him. All Might calls it a miracle or something. It's not. It's bullshit. And then it turns out Bakugo doesn't remember. He doesn't remember why both of his arms are broken in the exact way that both of Midoriya's arms are broken, in the exact way that Midoriya's arms are always broken from using the quirk that Bakugo knows he has that can be passed on. Bakugo is supposed to be smart, and maybe he does. Maybe he has figured this out, and he's just ignoring it because he doesn't want to acknowledge it. He doesn't want to talk about it with Midoriya. Maybe he does remember. Maybe he did pass it back, and he just doesn't want to talk about it. But that's stuff that I want to see, because that to me can make his character's decisions make sense. Okay, that was basically it. That was everything I wanted to say. I know this is a very different video from what's normally on this channel. Hopefully this is something I'm going to be doing a lot more of, because I do have a lot of thoughts about anime and stuff that I want to talk about, and I'm finally at a point where I feel like I have the time to do this sort of thing, maybe semi-regularly. I hope you enjoy it, because I really enjoyed talking about it, and nobody I know wants to listen to me anymore. So there you go. Oh, and if you have any thoughts about the My Hero Academia movie, or the series, or just anything My Hero Academia, please put it down in the comments below. I would love to have a conversation about My Hero Academia with anyone. I love it. Please argue against me, tell me I'm right, tell me I'm wrong. Like the video, don't like the video, apparently it doesn't matter either way. But yeah, let's start a conversation about My Hero Academia, because those are the best conversations, are they not?